My name is Travis Huey. I am the owner of Huey Aquafarm, the makers of the MyAquaFarm aquaponics system. What we're going to do for you here today is go through a series of videos to show the actual construction out of the box for this system. There's an instruction manual included in the box, but some of us are visual learners, so I thought it'd be a good idea to take you on a trip through this. Okay, we're back, and what we have here is the two boxes that will come shipped. If you're wondering what the crazy man is doing with the knife, we're going to use this to open the boxes. You have two boxes. The first one is, this one will have the fish tank and the liners and some of the hardware in it. This box underneath, which I know in the video here it's kind of crushed, we're using this one for a demo. I think you'll find that inside there's nothing wrong with the parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this first by taking the straps loose, and then basically come in here and run this back all the way around like so, and then be sure, and as all good safe people, close the knife back up. We'll open the box up. And what we have are the parts for the system. We'll lay some of this packing aside so you can see what we've got here. We've got the liners, and these parts are all numbered. Number 29, number 59. Each of them have tags and everything. That's all in the instruction manual. All of these numbers correspond with the parts in the instruction manual, so you'll know what you're dealing with. Let's set these liners aside right now. And we're going to cut some of the pieces loose here. This is why we need the wire cutters, is to cut these little wire ties off of the legs. Just snip all of those. This system is a powder coated steel, so the actual black that you see is not paint. It's as far as your standard paint, it's powder coated paint, so it's very tough. But you want to be careful when you take these things loose that you try not to ding anything up too bad. You look real close where the tie wraps are and just cut all the tie wraps. That's your flood valve. This is the rocker mechanism that's going to open the flood valve later on. You'll see what that's all about, but let's lay it all aside for right now. And as you can see, it says a part number tag on it, number 21. And we're going to keep pulling these loose. Take these parts, let's all bring them to the table. These are part number 4, as you can see here, and each of these will have a tag on them. We can take all of those off later on. Go ahead and take out the flood valve cover. The pump is in there. See, we just got packing in that part of it. What we have here is the bottle cover. Let's see if we can get this out. And the hardware. So we'll lay these on the table as well. Here's the bottle for the flood valve mechanism. Here's your hardware, all your screws, parts and pieces. And then let's get the frames. These are two of your fish tank. These are actually the ends of the fish tank. What we'll do is we'll set those aside right here, because it's going to be a little bit before we need those. This is the top rail of the fish tank. We'll set that aside as well, as we'll need that after we get the bottom put together. This is a safety guard so that little children cannot fall in the fish tank so easily. We'll set that off to the side. Now we get into the bottom, which we have to clip some more wire ties. All of this is packed up pretty tight for shipping. These are the side frames for the fish tank. Set those right here for now. And we have the fish tank bottom. This is the base for the entire system. And what we want to do is make sure whatever location we're in, if you read in the manual, it talks about the location needs to be flat, level, needs to be facing the proper orientation depending on which hemisphere you're in. And what we're going to do today, we're just going to build this on a piece of plywood here because we have to disassemble this and use it for a demo unit elsewhere. But at least you'll be able to see how to put this together. So we start off, if you'll notice on this rail, there is a hole right here. Hole on each of the corners. This is the front of the system. Your grow bed will be bridging over this part of the system, so whatever you're facing, you want to make sure this part with the least distance between the holes is facing forward. So let's set it up on the table and begin putting some legs on it. Okay, now we're going to open up the second box and show you what's in there. Primarily these are the parts for the grow bed, but there's a couple of legs that we're going to need to begin assembling. So once again, we just open this up. And grab our wire cutters and just cut every one of these wires ties that we can. Things are really clipped together well because we have this system manufactured in China, and you can go on the website on www.MyAquaFarm.com, and I go into an explanation of why we actually do that, and you can read that there. Some people have opinions about such things, and that's okay. My goal is to get people growing as much food as they possibly can for themselves. And to make a system that is affordable, we have to do that. Okay, we're back. We opened up the case in the last video. We started undoing wire ties, and there was a lot of them. We went ahead and pulled the pieces out that we needed, which for the fish tank section, we're going to need 3 of part number 4. These are the corner legs. Need 1 part number 5, 1 part number 3, and then 1 of part number 6 and the fish tank bottom. Right now we're going to install the legs, the corner legs, and they'll go on this front corner here, this front corner here, and this back corner here. And so to do that, we start out with a couple of screws, a couple of nuts that are provided. The legs go on from the outside and basically go in. Put the nut on that side like so, Go in from here. This nut goes on outside like so. And then what we're going to do, we're going to real lightly just snug them up a little bit, not a lot. We won't do the finish tightening until we get towards the end of this particular assembly. But what you want to do is just pull this in snug so it's got a little room, it's still got a little play, because we want to put the top rail on later. So we'll do that on all 3 of these legs, and then we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We've installed the 3 short legs at their proper locations. We've got the one, part number 3 is installed on this location, and the next thing we're going to do is put this top rail in these legs and basically bolt them at the corners like the rest of this is. Let me make a little note about the top rail. It has this crossbar. This crossbar goes closest to this leg, and you'll see it in the manual. It'll tell you to make sure to do that because this crossbar helps support the grow bed when it's installed. So what we're going to do is install that. I've got a friend here who's actually behind the camera right now, and he's going to help me set this, because really honestly it'll probably take a couple people to hold this, and we'll come back after we bolt this together and you'll see what this fish tank looks like assembled with the top rail. Okay, we're back. We've moved the fish tank into its location, the fish tank frame anyway, after we installed parts number 5 and 6. Now we need to put the side panels in the fish tank. So the first thing we want to do is look at these panels. You'll see some vertical bars and horizontal bars. We want the vertical bars to be out, and basically what we're going to do is set them in the ends like that. Just let them rest there for right now. Once again, the vertical bars go out. Set this one back in here, set it in place. Then the side panels, if you'll notice, there are some notches right here where this has been cut away. These notches correspond with this cross brace to give clearance for that. Once again, horizontal bars out. We're going to run this in like so. And basically stand it up. Take a little bit of work to make it happen. And we can get there. There we go. Basically we'll pull that one in. There we are. Click that one right in. Same way with this side. We've got the notch cut away. And this one in like so. Be a little bit of a challenge at first, but once you get them set right, they'll go right in. Pull this corner in. There we go. We're in. And on sometimes, if these don't fit quite snug like this, you can take these tie wraps, run them around, hook them together for right now, just as a temporary hold while the liner fills up. And the next step we're going to do, we're going to install the liner and start filling it with water and get it all set in place. Then we can begin the grow bed construction. Okay, we're back. We've got the fish tank liner. Now, for some reason in the box, this had number 59 written on it. Actually, in the instructions, it's part number 7. So we're going to put the fish tank liner in here. Once again, that part number was 59 in the box. For some reason, they wrote that at the factory, but it's actually part number 7 in the instruction manual. So what we're going to do, we're going to unfold this inside this cage, like so. And you'll notice there's grommets on this liner that we can use to temporarily tie up the liner into the cage. So you want to bring your corners over here close and just temporarily put these in place, because what's going to happen once this liner gets filled up with water, it's not going anywhere. So we can turn that around like so. We'll put another one in over here. Just temporarily for right now. You'll want to, if you do end up putting any tie wraps back here, you'll have to remove them when you install the grow bed. But for right now, like I say, just to get it filled with water, we're going to temporarily put these in place. Just like so. Now you might be wondering why I'm turning this around. It's just good practice to do that, because if we end up keeping it, it dresses out a little nicer with the connector below the frame rail. Now this material is basically the same material that high quality inflatable boats are made out of. Not the cheap, you know, use for half a day and get punctured type thing. These are the kind of this is the kind of material that your high quality boats, like your Zodiacs, Avons, all of that stuff are. So you can see what we got going on here. Basically, we've got just a liner in a basket, and I'm just going to randomly install this here. And then what we're going to do is go get the water hose, and we will be back in just a little bit and begin filling this. Okay, we started filling the fish tank, and what we're going to want to do is, as this water fills up in here, we're going to want to move as many wrinkles out of this liner as we can, just so we have a nice, neat installation, and you know, it just looks pretty. It's supposed to look pretty, right? Not only work good, but it's supposed to look pretty. So at any rate, we're going to continue filling this. It's going to take a little while. We'll be back when we get the fish tank full. Now we'll say this, that part of the trick to some of this, that as it goes, is let the weight of the water do some work for you. So we're going to pull these wrinkles out, press it down, and then as the water is filling up, we'll just tug up a little bit and yank the wrinkles out of this, and any excess will just roll underneath the edge like so. This little piece right here, we're not worried about this because the water's only going to come up to this high anyway. So we'll continue filling this and get this all filled up. We will be back when we have a full fish tank. Okay, while our fish tank is filling, which is going to take a little while, there's one thing we can do in preparation. We can go ahead and begin assembling the grow bed. So what we're going to do is come over here and take the bottom of the grow bed, we take it up and put it on the table. And we'll install the two legs that go on the end. They'll help us to hold this thing up. We have them right here. Part number 15. What we'll do is we'll bolt this leg together right here and this one together here, and then we'll be back. Okay, we've got the fish tank full. One of the things that it says in the manual, the assembly manual, to do is to make sure when you set this tank, when you set the tank frame, that you verify that you are level both across these rails and across these rails. Do not begin filling this fish tank until you've made sure that you're on a level build, because this is the foundation for the entire system. If this is not level, the grow bed will not be level. So once you've got it filled, you want to verify again that it is level. I will tell you, just for this video, this is not perfectly level, because like I say, this is just a demonstration on the assembly of it, and we're going to break this down when this is all done. So, and move it to another location. So anyhow, once you've verified that everything is level, the fish tank is full of water, and it verifies that it's level, you can proceed to installing the grow bed bottom frame. I will say this also again about level. If it's not level, when you fill it up with water, you're going to have to empty the fish tank out, siphon it, or use the pump and some piping and empty the thing out. Get it level before you proceed any farther. I can't stress it enough. It makes a big difference in the overall performance of the system, and you have to make sure it's exact. Anyway, so now we're going to set the grow bed frame on. We had before put the legs just loosely on here, nothing big. We just want them to hold in place. We'll tighten them up a little later. So what I'm going to do is grab this frame, I'm going to pick it up, move it around, and set it on here, like so. The reason we put these legs on, as you can see, it helps to hold everything in place. And what we're going to do, we're going to put the screws in the corners here, into this bracket here, and into this bracket here. So when we get that done, and making sure, you know what? I messed up. One of the things we're going to have to do is cut these tie straps that are underneath the grow bed. We got one of them right here and one of them right here. We'll cut these tie straps out before we bolt this together. You can see this one here and this one here. Once these are cut, then we can bolt this together. Then we'll come back and begin the assembly of the rest of the grow bed. Okay, we've got the grow bed frame bottom bolted on to the framework of the fish tank, as you can see there. We've left the legs loose for right now because we want to put the top rail on first before we make any adjustments. So we'll take our end pieces here, and our sidewalls for the grow bed. And this is the top rail for the grow bed itself. Now if you'll notice on this top rail there are some holes drilled, 2 of them right here, and then there's 2 holes drilled in the top. These will go over the fish tank. So make sure you orient this correctly, because this hole will bolt into one of the uprights on the fish tank and lock this whole thing in. So what we'll do, come over here, Lex. What we're going to do is bolt this unit in on all of these corners, here and here and here and there, and bolt this leg to it. And when we get that done, we will be back. And once again, put them in loosely at first, then when everything's together, tighten it down. Okay, we've got the top rail installed, and now we're going to install the bottle cover. And the reason we do that is that these nuts on the back side of these 2 holes have to go on before these side panels go in. So when you get this cover, and it's part number 23 on the right here, you can see it. It's a stainless steel cover with no slots in it as far as on the outside, but the holes on the top are slotted. You see 2 sets of holes. Disregard the ones on the bottom. We do not use those. We just use the ones on the top. And we wanted to put slots in them so that we can adjust this across the front here as necessary to center it up on the bottle mechanism. So to install that, we run the screws through the slots into the corresponding hole on the rail, and we put a nut on the back side. And we're just going to put these on finger tight right now, because at the end we want to adjust this. And then we put this one in, pick this up, let it fall through the hole, put the nut on. And all this is just a cover for the bottle that's going to be on the end of the mechanism that actually pulls the valve open. We're going to do that for a couple reasons. One, it dresses everything up, makes it look kind of pretty. And 2, it helps to reduce the amount of algae that would grow in the bottle over time. And like I say, we want this to be able to slide this back and forth like this, so that we'll adjust this when we do the final assembly. So that's it for now. What we'll end up doing here, the next step will be to put the side panels in, then we'll put the liner in, and we will do that on the next clip. Okay, we're back again. We've just installed the bottle cover. One of the things I wanted to mention is the bottom of these legs down here at the very bottom is an adjustable foot. So what we want to make sure that we're sitting solid on the ground, that this adjustment will take up any difference in the ground where you're at or whatever. You want to make sure this grow bed is level with the fish tank, that it's sitting solid on the ground, and that we're not lifting up on the back end. See, like this, we don't want the legs to be lifting up. We want this to be sitting firmly on the fish tank frame. Once we've established that and we know it's all good, we'll look at our side panels. One of the grow bed side panels, you'll see, has a little plate welded to it here. This plate must be located, of course this is part number 17. This plate must be located over the fish tank and at the front. So basically it's going to go in like this and settle in. Because what we will have is a siphon tube that will come through here, and it will fit through here and down into the grow bed. The next panel we want to install is a side panel. And you'll notice that there's a cutout on this end, and there's not a cutout on this. This is part number 18. This side that's straight, since we don't have any support here, we want to put this straight side in there like so, and set that in place just like that. Let me get this. Make sure they're all up in here snug. And we'll pull this forward. And then what we're going to do, we're going to just take a tie wrap, and we're going to tie wrap a couple of these together. It's nothing other than to just give it a little extra support. I've never had one bulge out or anything like that, but I'm just one of those people that like everything to be knitted up nice and neat. We'll just pull that around, and we'll pull that in like so. We'll later on, when we pull these tabs off, we'll come around and trim all of this off so that it looks all nice and sporty. There. That'll locate that and keep that corner solid and secure. The next one we want to do is this one as well, and this is the same piece for the other side. Honestly, it's not really going to matter which side you put these on, because it's not a corner that's an issue, but they're just one universal part for everything. So we'll install that, put it into place. Let's get this back in here. And we'll go like this. There we go. Set that one in like so. And then the back panel we'll put in make sure it's down below the edge of the grow bed. This will just slide right back here, and it'll just hold in like with its own pressure, really, like that. Then we want to take a few tie wraps, and remember we had some places on our fish tank right here, for one, that did not have a tie wrap. So we want to install that now before we put the liner in. We have to reach through here and grab this stuff. Like that. We'll put another one in over here. And this will just hold the liner up as just an additional safety feature. If something was to happen, someone was to mess up and pump the water out of the system, the liner wouldn't fall down and the whole thing lose its charge. Let's go through here. Well, this one's going to be a little short, it looks like. So we will show you a trick on how to extend your tie wraps. Take one, put one into the other like that, and you'll end up making a longer one. that we can work with. There's nothing unique about these tie wraps. If you have them, if you run out, you can buy them at any of your big box stores. I know. I know it looks like I'm doing the same thing over and over again, but what we're going to do is going to kick that up because I can't get my fingers down through here. I can get through there easy. Okay, just like so. And like I say, these will end up, I'll go ahead and trim these off right now just to make things look nice. Get the tabs out of the way. And that liner will be able to stay up nice and, you know, keep the edges up so there's no problem with them falling down, the water coming out or anything like that. And the ones that were on the side that we used to hold the edges on, let's see if we have any more over here. We can trim these off. Any of them that we had to hold these sides in, we can take those off at this point. These that are on the outside here, let's go ahead and just leave them, but we can trim the edges so it dresses it up pretty. Okay, so now we will move on. Okay, now we're going to begin the grow bed liner install. It's the only other liner you'll have left in the system, so there's a couple of holes in this liner. We'll have to find out where they are. Right here, we've got a, you see this big hole right here will correspond with this plate on the bottom here. So what we're going to have to do is flip this over, turn it out like so, and fold this, or unfold the liner. You'll also notice that there's a hole here that corresponds with this one here as well. And what we got to do, the first thing we need to do right now is install the flood valve into the bottom. I'm going to take your flood valve, and we're going to take this nut off, take the plastic washer off, and take the rubber gasket, and we throw that away. We do not use that. If you want to, just for ease of install, take this flapper, you can unhitch it right here, like so, and get it out of the way. We'll install that later, but we do want to use the nut and the washer and the valve itself. We're going to put a little bit of silicone on this valve. Let's go down here. Make sure we get a good bead. Make sure you get a good bead around there. This will seal the valve against the bottom of the liner. This silicone is very, very heavy. There we go, like that. And what we're going to do is put this through the hole, but this faces towards this rail here, and then we'll move this over, put it in the hole in the metal right there, work it down. It's a tight fit. Not supposed to be that tight though. Oh, I see what it is. We've got some of the liner material. There we go. If that liner gets caught in that hole, it'll definitely tighten things up. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take this, we're going to thread this on from the outside. I'm going to put my hand down underneath here, and I'm going to thread this nut on with the washer first, then the nut. I don't know, can you get a good shot there? See, this just threads on the threads down here, and we want to pull that up nice and snug, just good hand tight, good solid hand tight. What we're going to want to look for is some squeeze out. Just keep pushing down and keep tightening up. What we want to see is good squeeze out all the way around here. So we'll take our finger and we'll wipe that up. And that valve is installed now. What we'll want to do, if you can, we're not going to be able to today, but if you can, let this sit for 24 hours and seal up and set up the sealer. We're not going to do that today because we're going to need to move this along. But this, and once we get the siphon, which is this assembly right here, we'll put this together, and it will, if we can, let that set up for a good 24 hours. So, take this siphon assembly apart. We want to put some silicone on this face right here. And let's just let that sit there for a second. We're going to thread this piece through this hole. We're going to thread it through the liner, like so. And then we're going to sandwich this in against it with it pointed straight down. And pull it up nice and tight. And we'll make sure this is pointed in straight down position. And that has that installed. So now we're going to move on to putting some gravel in here. And I like to start out with just like a 5-gallon bucket or a few gallons, just something to hold everything in place before we start looking into the bulk load of it all. And so what we're going to do is just pour this in like so. Now this gravel is a little dirty. I typically don't like to do that, but like I say, this system, we're just doing this for assembly. Instructions show you what's going on. You would want to clean your gravel and rinse it out good, because as you get it, it'll have some stuff in it and it'll make your water all muddy and all that. So the key is to basically pull this liner down, try to get all the wrinkles out of the bottom of it. And get this thing ready to put the gravel in and fill it all the way up. What we want to do next is take this big cover, oops, which is the flood valve cover, and on this one let's go ahead and just pull this off because we're going to be stacking gravel up against it. This keeps gravel from getting in the valve and the siphon and all of that. So pull the protective sheet off of that. And you'll notice on this cover is a radius down here. And this one is straight. It's just an angled square cut. We want this radius at the bottom of the liner to pull in that radius. You'll see this flange here sits on the bottom of the liner as well, and it will go over the valve and it pushes back in here just like so. And then what we'll do is we'll stack gravel up against that to secure it in place just like that, and then we'll basically come in here and pile gravel up. This will be the first thing that we actually set up when we go to put gravel in. We want to pile our gravel up against this as much as possible and help hold that into place while we get the liner installed. We want to pull as many of the wrinkles as we can out so it looks kind of nice. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and bulk fill this grow bed, and then we'll be back and show you what we got to do to finish the assembly of the flood valve and the plumbing and get this thing rolling. Yeah, we're cheating. You can do this with a 5-gallon bucket, but a quarter-yard bucket's a whole lot nicer, because this system will take about a ton of gravel in it. Gravel weighs 110 pounds per cubic foot. So you want to push this gravel against the side walls. Try and get all your wrinkles out. Push this up against this cover. That way this can't move around anymore. And then we come in with the next load, we can just dump it in. Like I say, you can do this by 5-gallon bucket loads. However it takes to get it to go. You always pile it up around the edges first before you fill the middle. Get another load, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We've filled the grow bed with gravel, and what you want to do is come up all the way to the top of the liner with gravel so we have a nice, even, smooth, flat surface. If you did get any gravel fall down in here, just reach in, pick it out. You want to make sure that the on that valve that the seat is, there's nothing, no silicone, no gravel or anything on that seat where the flapper wants to seal. So the next thing we're going to do here is install this the bracket for the rocker part of the mechanism. And basically it goes just like so. Okay, we're back. We've got the bracket in. One of the things you're going to want to make sure you do is put this bracket in before you put gravel in. The reason is this wire frame up front might need to be slid down to accommodate the nut. There's a very close fit between this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw, and the wire mesh and the liner and all of that. It's very, very tight. So you probably need to move this around. With gravel in this bed, you're not going to be able to do it so much. So basically we've went ahead and we've got this thing installed, got the bracket installed. Next thing we're going to do is put the cover in. We slip it down over the valve, tip this underneath, and then push it forward so that it sandwiches everything in there nice and snug. We want to, if you come over here and look at the top of this, of course you're there, you want to make sure this lip goes underneath the seat of this valve a little bit, and we're sitting in there beautifully. So now what we're going to do is bring our gravel in, pull it in, stack it around while we hold it, making sure that we can keep it nice and secure. Try and keep the gravel from going into the inside. If it does, you just simply pick the pieces out and when we're all done. So we'll go ahead and level this all back out. And beauty of an aquaponics system is you don't need a lot of tools. You know, you don't need a hoe or a rake or any of that stuff that you do with soil gardening, because you're just moving gravel around and you can do that by your hand. Speaking of gravel, while I move this, I want to talk a little bit about a product that we have available. We're going to call it MyAquaFarm Power Pebbles. It's an expanded clay product that is a media for your grow bed. The beauty of this stuff is the chemical analysis on it is close to organic soil. Not that it's a replacement for soil, but it's a slow release micronutrient addition to your system. Many times with aquaponics systems, people's complaint is that, listen, you have a lot of nitrogen, but you don't have a lot of other things that the plants need. This media will help do that. The beauty of it is, it weighs half of what this pea gravel does. Pea gravel is 110 pounds per cubic foot. The Power Pebbles are half of that. We can ship them to you in a super sack, basically enough for one system in one big sack. And if you're interested in that, just go online, look at our products, and you can actually keep an eye out. We're working on right now a couple of things to get that available to you, but as soon as it's available, you'll be able to order that and we can ship that to your house. So we're going to flatten this out, and then we'll come back and we'll put the rocker assembly together, and we're just about done. Okay, the next part of this, you've got an elbow that was on the end of the outer siphon assembly, and you've got this downspout. Basically, you're just going to screw this together. Hand tight should be plenty good. And going to assemble that on the end, pointing straight down. Just like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to hook the valve seat back on the valve down here, and that just clips on. Then we want to be able for that to pull up and down like that. We'll lay this off to the side right now. When you get this this system, basically you'll get this rocker assembly, part number 21. You'll get this anchor, which is a counterweight, and you'll get a little clip like this. What you want to do is put the clip in the back hole on the boat, put the anchor in there like that, and then we're going to adjust. I'll show you how to adjust this rocker. What we're going to do is put this bolt through this hole in here like this. Make sure it's in there and that it can rock freely like that. Then we're going to tighten this down, and this has to be adjusted. We don't want this to do this. So we're going to tighten this bracket down just enough to take that play out of it, but not enough to restrict the movement of the valve. So we're just closing this clamp up on this rocker here a little bit. I'm going to tighten it. See there, it's too tight because it'll hold. What we'll want to do is back that off just enough. There we go, like that. And then we've taken a lot of that play out, so that can move back and forth like that. We're going to slip this. This bottle has a hole in it. This tube, I'll take this out for right now. This tube will fit down that hole. This bottle slides up and down on that. We can pull it in just like so. Put that on there and hang the boat on there. That way then, when that counterweight gets full of water, it pulls this valve open. Now we want to adjust this chain, because this chain is way too long. And we want just enough slack in here to be able to pull the valve open, but we don't want the valve holding open when this is in the full resting area. So with the valve all the way down, we're going to grab this. See if I can do this where you can see what's going on. Grab it just like so. I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to take that link right there. We're going to separate that so that you can get that one out. And we're going to use this clip right here, the original clip on this. Like so. And we're going to thread that into the anchor. There we are. That way then when this opens up, and if it doesn't open up far enough, we'll take another link out of here. Looks like we could probably do that anyway. Let's just do that. Easy way to take that up if you don't want to cut this anymore. Let's just go up another link or two. And just hook the chain into that link and keep test fitting it until you just get barely enough slack out of it so that it closes, but then this valve can open up all the way. So that pretty much takes care of the assembly of the valve itself. As long as this can move freely, we're all good. I like to tweak this until I get it set just where I want it. I think this tube is a little long myself. It is. So we're going to trim this off. Just going to take about an inch off of that. Hook that back on. You know, in fact, we could actually cut a little of this out here to make this work a little bit easier. We're going to do that as well. So take your snips, just gently cut some of that away. There we go. That should let that tube slide much easier. Oh yeah, much better. There we are. Yeah, everything moves nice and easy. As it should. Okay? So the next thing is to do the plumbing and the pump. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, we're at the last final phases of this assembly. And we're going to install the pump. Your pump will come in a box like this. Just open it up and pull it out. Pull the wrapper off of it. And the piping assembly, part number 27, we will just simply thread that fitting onto the top of the pump. Want to make sure we undo the tie on the power cord. And check the cover. Make sure there's no foam in here. We do not use any kind of foam in this system. So we want to place this with the downspout, the bypass, sitting down like so. And it needs to be over the inside here. We'll hook this piece to this elbow to the piping assembly. Make sure everything is pushed together nice and solid. We want this fitting turned up. Now the way this works, we want to be able to even out any solids that come from the fish tank over time. If we were to have this spout at one place and one place only, the solids would all accumulate around here and we would have this nice big growth area here and it'd be a little uneven. So what we've done is we've come up with a very, very simple thing, and we will turn this manifold to wherever we want it across the system over time. Do it here for, you know, a month or two, and come in here, take it out, move it around, but always keep this fitting pointed down into the fish tank. One of the things we want to do too, at least I would anyway, take a tie wrap and come inside here and just loosely attach that there like so. And we'll do the same down here on the bottom. That way then, this isn't going anywhere. No one's going to be able to knock that away or anything like that. So what we're going to do now is turn this on. We'll plug in the pump. Make sure when you power this thing up that you put these fittings somewhere where they can't get into the water. What I personally like to do on my installations is come underneath here and in the mesh, put a tie wrap, and basically tie this connection up high so that it can't lay down in the water. And always use a GFI circuit when you're working with electricity around water so that it's an extra layer of safety for you. So at any rate, we're going to plug this in. Pump's going to start. You're going to see just a little bit of water flow here. The reason we've done this is so we get some aeration for the fish, and to adjust the water flow how fast we want the system to cycle, we simply turn this down and that'll increase the flow back here. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to really increase the flow to the grow bed because we want to test this thing out. Make sure your fittings are very tight. We're going to turn this completely off and run the full flow into the grow bed, and we're going to fill this thing up, and we'll be back just before the system cycles so you can see how this mechanism actually works. Okay, what we're about to have happen here is we're going to see the siphon begin to pick up and fill the bottle. Just a few seconds away, there it goes, it's just begun. And what'll happen is, as it fills the weight, the weight in the bottle will pull the rocker mechanism down and open the valve to complete to begin the flood cycle to empty it. Won't be long here. And the man there, he's got a bite. He's about to get a fish on. There he goes, fish on. Then as the bottle empties, the system evacuates the grow bed and it breaks the siphon that's filling the bottle, and the bottle begins to empty of the water. It will get light, and the mechanism will reset itself again. There it reset itself and ready to go for the next cycle. The grow bed will continue filling until it gets full again, and then it'll empty it out again. As the water flows through these grow beds, the nitrifying bacteria converts the ammonia from the fish waste into nitrates as plant food, and then the water, once it's had a chance to sit in these beds and make that conversion, and the plants pull those nutrients out of the water is then returned back to the fish tank, aerated and cleaned to complete the cycle. The beauty of these aquaponics systems is we will reuse this water 200 to 300 times before it actually evaporates out through transpiration through the plant leaves. So these systems are very efficient on water. This particular system only consumes 25 watts of power to operate. So it doesn't take much per month on your electric bill, or it'd be easy to do with solar or any kind of off-grid application. And you could grow yourself a good bit of food in this and probably grow at least 25-30 pounds of fish. Some people would say more, but I would rather you be surprised than to make claims that we can't honestly justify. You can use tilapia, goldfish, koi, brim, any kind of fish that will readily take to aquaculture you can use in here, whether for food or for ornamental purposes. So this is it, MyAquaFarm.